Welcome guys again. This is BAHCRETE stamp concrete. It's on stamp concrete. This is a kind of floor that was done as stamp concrete. You can barely see the stamp. This is where you're looking for a cheaper price, looking for someone who can do it cheaper, looking for something that is not expensive for you to do. Whereas you'll be spending double or twice or triple the money you should have spent. Look at the house, a very wonderful one, and look at the floor they did for them on stamp concrete. Now this is where BAHCRETE came in to do a repair, to change the look of the concrete, to give it a better look. Look at the floor, you can barely see the stamp, no color. This is where this particular place we have to tap it a little bit with hammer because we want to do repair. We want to put another concrete on that part because the water is not flowing outside. The water is storing there. There's a water log there, so we have to do repair on that place and cast another concrete on it. Look at the floor, look at how damaged rough on it, and also the usage of the people in the house is also very important. Everything needs maintenance. Once you don't use your house properly, it will come back to you. This is BAHCRETE once again on repair of stamp concrete. Stay tuned. This is we want to insert that rosette pattern on the floor. We use a cutting machine to bring out that circle, to put that mandolin mat rosette pattern in the floor to add more feature to the floor. This is the cutting machine we use in bringing out that circle to do a very neat job, because BAHCRETE is more passionate about doing a very neat job. So we did everything neat, we cut it out, we chisel it to give a very good effect. So this was the next day after we finished the casting, the repair, and the casting of the arm and rosette pattern. This was the next day where we are washing. We finished the casting actually around 1 a.m. This very morning, but we did it from the afternoon till the next morning around 1 a.m. before we went to sleep. So because we had to get the job done as soon as possible, that was the time frame from the owner of the house. So we used the black antique release agent because we want to attain a black color for the floor. So, and at this point we are washing away the release agents in order to put the acid stain on the floor. So it doesn't need much effort. We wash with just broom and water and detergent if necessary. So in some cases in stamp concrete we do come across some things where after casting our floor we do leave it sometimes for a week or 2 weeks for the floor to cure, then we come back to polish it. And during those times most clients or most people don't know how to take good care of concrete. Whenever we come back to the site sometimes the painters will have stained the floor with a lot of dirty things and many more. So this is the acid stain we intend to use. We intend to use the gray acid stain for the borderline and the black acid stain for the main work, just to put to add a black effect. So what we did was use black antique release agent, we use black acid stain, and the gray for the borderline. We apply it using this brush, as you can see the way I'm applying it with use of a brush. We can use a sprayer, you can use a hardened brush, so that the acid stain will have a effect on the floor. Will be like a primer, the primary color to the floor, since the color is not coming with any color again when we got there. So we have to use an acid stain that will at least give a color to the floor before putting on the polish, because this acid stain will bind properly with the concrete and will also be part of the concrete. So it is after that acid stain then we will apply our polish to it. So this is the way I am applying the acid stain with the hand brush. You can because acid stain is a kind of reacting agent for stamp concrete also, where the color will fix or bind properly with the concrete. This is the gray color for the borderline. Gray color. Here's a light gray and pure black for the main work. can use a brush to apply it. You can use a sprayer, a knapsack sprayer to apply it. You can see the effect of the assistant. The assistant change the color, like the floor was without no color, but now at least it has an effect of gray color on the floor. This was what we intend to achieve with the assistant, which was achieved to be a primary color for the floor where there was no color at all. You can see the difference between the one that has assisting and the one that doesn't have assisting. You can see the difference between them. So the assisting will bind with the concrete. It's used for a situation like this, and also it can also be used as a cloud effect on stamped concrete, where the floor, maybe after the floor has been casted, the color on the floor wasn't as enough as we want. You can also use assisting to stain that floor to give a cloud effect. You can see to the floor also. Now we use I'm using a brush here to apply the assistant to the floor. I'm using a brush to apply it to give a cloud effect, and also to give a primary coat to the floor where there was no color initially. So after applying the polish on the floor, it will bind also with the assistant and become part of the floor. You can see you can apply with a knapsack sprayer. This is where when I was using a knapsack sprayer, this knapsack sprayer sprays better, it applies better, but it consumes a lot of assistant. So you can use different method. Just make sure that your assistant is being done properly. You can see this is the effect after giving it 6 hours or 12 hours or even 24 hours at most for the assistant to react with the floor, to bind with the floor, and to cure completely. This is the effects of the assistant we tend to achieve the black, at least like a primary color. We also use a brush and brush here to make the application more suitable and to minimize wastage of material. You can see this is the effect of the assistant, giving it a black color initially before using the polish. This is BAHCRETE once again. For those who didn't know BAHCRETE, this is BAHCRETE on stamped concrete. This another method of applying color to stamped concrete where the color wasn't there initially, or where the color has faded off completely. So you can stain your floor before polishing it. You can get different material like color hardener, acid stain, polish from BAHCRETE. This is the effect after the acid stain has been applied. You can see gray at the borderline, black at the main body of the concrete, as an effect different from when we met the floor initially. This is quite different from it. So you can see the changes before we now start to apply the polish. This is the changes. These are the rosette pattern. This is the stamp floor. This is the acid stain. You can see the difference. We apply like 2 to 3 coats of acid stain on the whole floor. We applied about 2 to 3 times to achieve this effect we wanted. So this is the effect of the acid stain. You can see at least a primary color has been achieved in this process before we start applying the polish on the floor. You can see there's difference because we try to match the color of the house, where the glass are black, the frame of the glass are gray. Now this is the polish from BAHCRETE. You can see the color of the glass, gray and black. That was the color we tried to achieve, and it was successful. This is the black color and the gray color of the borderline. You can see with this process you will be able to minimize the cost of the polish, and also it will enhance a good finished product for the concrete. So can see the floor black while the borderline is gray. You can see the rosette pattern will be added to it. You can see. So thank you very much for watching my videos. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please try to subscribe. Press the like button. You can share it to your friends. Explain to others how BAHCRETE does this stamp concrete. You can explain to your friends. Make sure you subscribe and press the notification button so that you get notified when next any video comes up. This is handwork from BAHCRETE, transforming this floor from the initial look to this present look. This was the next day, the next morning before leaving the site. You can see the color still as intact. You can see